So, have you been asking yourself, does it make sense to file my immigration case right now with all these travel bans? Then, if you have been asking yourself that question, then you're not alone. Okay. A lot of people are confused, they're worried, and honestly, they're afraid of making the wrong move. But here's the truth. Waiting could actually hurt your case more than it can help your case. In today's discussion, I'm going to be breaking down what travel bans actually do and don't do, whether you should file right now, and the biggest mistake I see people making during times like this. My name is Ebony Anuforo. I'm an immigration attorney, and I help clients across all 50 states and around the world navigate the U.S. immigration process. And if you have questions about your specific situation, then feel free to book a consultation. My details are in the description below. Okay, so let's start with what is a travel ban? Okay, I want to start with the basics. So, a travel ban is typically a government policy that restricts or limits entry into the United States from certain countries. Now, here's what many people misunderstand. A travel ban does not always stop immigration cases from being filed or processed. Instead, it may delay visa issuance, it may limit entry into the United States. It may require waivers or additional screening. So your case might still move forward. It just might require you to have some extra steps. Okay. So that goes back to my initial question is, should you file during a travel ban? And the short answer is, in most cases, yes. It still makes sense for you to file. And here's why. Number one, immigration cases take time anyway. Even without a travel ban, green cards can take months or even years to be adjudicated, to be processed. Consular processing can be delayed. So if you wait, you're just pushing your timeline further back. Also, there are policy changes, okay, that happen. And sometimes these policy changes happen very quickly. And immigration policies, including travel bans, they can be lifted, they can be modified, they can be challenged in court. So if you're waiting because you're waiting for the perfect timing, then you might find that you never actually file your case. Also, you get to lock in your priority date, and this is especially important for family-based petitions and employment-based cases. So when you file now, you're basically securing your place in line by locking in that priority date. And then another thing to consider is that some cases are not affected in the same way. So not all immigration processes are impacted equally. So for example, you might have adjustment of status cases, which is when you apply for a green card inside the US, still being processed. VAWA cases can still be filed and approved, and then certain waivers may still be available. Okay. So let's talk about when you might want to consider waiting. And I want to be real because there are some situations where you may want to actually pause and not file your case. So number one is if your case requires immediate travel. So if your strategy depends on, when you're entering the US, like you need to enter soon, or consular processing is very heavily restricted in your country, then the timing is going to matter more, right? If you need a waiver, right? Because some applicants may need hardship waivers, national interest waivers. And in these cases, strategy becomes more critical and it's not just about the timing. So, and then also you want to know if there are additional risk factors. So, for example, do you have prior immigration violations, criminal history? Maybe there are misrepresentation issues. With these types of cases, it's going to require careful planning before filing your case. Now, let's talk about some common mistakes that you want to avoid. All right. And so, one of the biggest mistakes that I see that happens a lot is that people wait, they wait, and then they just continue to wait. And by the time they're ready, policies have changed again, processing times are now even longer, or they've lost valuable time, right? Another mistake is that people file without having a strategy. Just because you can file doesn't mean that you should file blindly. Okay, you always want to have a strategy with an immigration attorney so that you're planning accordingly to your particular facts in your case. Okay, so a real strategy approach is the best way you want to go. And here's how I approach situations with my clients. First, we evaluate, okay? Where the client is located is very important. What type of case they have. We evaluate that. Whether waivers are needed, their long-term immigration goals, we always discuss with our clients. And then we create a strategy, not just filing, right? Because immigration is not just paperwork. It's really about positioning your case for approval. Okay. So back to my initial question, does it make sense to file during a travel ban? And in many cases, like I said, the answer is going to be yes, but it depends on your strategy. The key is not to panic and not to delay without understanding what your options are first, okay? So if you're trying to figure out whether you should file now or you should wait, I highly recommend booking a consultation so we can review your situation and create a tailored plan specifically to you. Again, I represent clients across all 50 states and globally. And if you found this discussion helpful, go ahead and like this video, drop your questions in the comments, reach out to us on our social media, contact us via WhatsApp or phone call, and we'd be happy to talk to you about your specific case. And also don't forget to subscribe for more information and immigration updates and strategies. And remember, your immigration journey deserves more than guesswork. It deserves a strategy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.